Commander Seo Minjan piloted his frigate directly at an alien cruiser 10 times larger than his ship. At the last second, he used the planet's magnetic field to change direction and fly underneath the alien vessel. His weapons raked the cruiser's belly, causing explosions along its hull. "Got you," he said with satisfaction, as the alien ship began to drift helplessly. The humans had another advantage the aliens didn't expect. They had been studying alien technology for weeks, and they had learned to use captured alien weapons. When human ships ran out of their own missiles, they fired alien energy beams at the enemy. Sergeant Choi Sung-min led a boarding party onto a damaged alien cruiser. His team moved through the alien corridors like experienced hunters, learned to fight in the caves under New Terra, and fighting inside an alien ship was similar. The aliens inside the ship were confused and scared. They had never been boarded by enemies before. They didn't know how to fight soldiers who appeared from air vents and disappeared into maintenance tunnels. "Clear the bridge," Sung-min ordered his team. They moved with deadly precision, using stun weapons to capture the alien crew instead of killing them within minutes. The aliens found themselves prisoners on their own ship. Sung-min activated the ship's communication system and spoke to the alien fleet. "This is Sergeant Choi of the Human Colonial Marines. Your ship is now under our control." Psychological effect was devastating. The aliens had thought they were the superior force, but now humans were capturing their ships and turning their own weapons against them. Admiral Kang watched the battle unfold with grim satisfaction. "Target their command ship," he ordered. "Let's end this." The human fleet concentrated their attack on Commander Vextalen's flagship. They used every trick they had learned: electronic warfare, gravitational maneuvers, captured alien weapons, and pure human stubbornness. Commander Vextalen felt something his people hadn't experienced in 1,000 years: fear. These humans fought like nothing he had ever seen. They turned every disadvantage into an advantage. They learned from every mistake. They never gave up. Monsieur Quenvalor said quietly, "Maybe we should consider retreat." Vextalen looked at his tactical display. Half his fleet was destroyed or disabled. Yet the humans were winning a battle they should have lost easily. For the first time in his long military career, he was facing an enemy that was better than him. The tide of battle had turned, and the humans were proving they were far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. The final battle was like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. Captain Minho led his soldiers in a ground attack on the alien landing zones. While high above them, Admiral Kung Hyenwa's fleet fought the remaining alien ships in space. The humans moved like a deadly machine, each part working perfectly. With the others, Dr. Kim Tae-hyen had spent weeks studying alien technology, and now his hybrid weapons were devastating the enemy. The same energy beams that had once destroyed human buildings were now in human hands. But they were better. Tae-hyen had improved them, made them more powerful and more accurate. "Fire all weapons," Minho commanded, as his troops advanced on the alien base. The weapons that had once seemed impossible to defeat now obeyed human commands. "Commander?" Seo Minjan guided his frigate Defiance through the alien fleet like a dancer. His ship's hull was glowing with energy from the planet's crystal formations. The same crystals that had seemed like pretty rocks were now part of a planetary defense system that turned the aliens' own weapons against them. "Target their flagship," Admiral Kang ordered over the radio. "Let's finish this." On the bridge of the alien flagship, Commander Vextalen watched his mighty fleet fall apart. Ships that had conquered hundreds of worlds were being destroyed by humans who had been in space for less than a century. His 3 yellow eyes were wide with disbelief. "Sir," his officer Quenvalor said in a shaking voice, "we've lost 70% of our fleet. The humans are boarding our remaining ships." Vextalen couldn't understand how this had happened. His people had ruled this part of the galaxy for thousands of years. They had the best weapons, the strongest ships, the most advanced technology. But somehow, these primitive humans were winning. Suddenly, there was a flash of light on the bridge, and human soldiers appeared out of nowhere. They had used the alien transportation system, but they had made it work better than the aliens ever could. Captain Minho stepped forward. his uniform torn and dirty from weeks of fighting, but his eyes were bright with victory. Behind him stood his team of soldiers, their weapons pointed at the alien crew. Commander Vextalon Minho said calmly, "You came here to destroy us. Instead, you've taught us something important. You've shown us that we're not alone in the universe, and you've learned that humans are much more dangerous than you thought." The alien commander stared at the human captain with all three of his eyes. He saw something in Minho that terrified him. It wasn't just the confidence of a winner, it was the potential of a species that would not stay quiet and peaceful. These humans would spread across the galaxy, learning and growing stronger with each challenge. "What do you want from us?" Vextalon asked. He expected the humans to demand tribute, slaves, or technology. Like most conquerors did, Minho smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. "I want you to go back to your people. I want you to tell them exactly what happened here. Tell them that humanity is not weak. Tell them that we don't want to be their enemies, but we will defend ourselves if we have to." Dr. Yunhana stepped forward. She had been studying alien biology and culture during the entire battle. "We don't want to rule the galaxy," she said to Vextalon. "We just want to live in peace. But if anyone threatens our homes, our families, our children, they will face the same fate as your fleet." Outside the flagship, the battle was ending. The few remaining alien ships were either destroyed or surrendering. The planet's crystal formations were still crackling with energy, ready to defend New Terra from any future attacks. Lieutenant Park G1 was coordinating the cleanup from the colony's command center. "All alien ground forces have surrendered," she reported. "Our casualties are surprisingly light." Sergeant Choi Sungmin was leading teams to secure the alien prisoners. The same soldiers who had learned to fight in caves were now experts at boarding alien ships and capturing their crews. Private Nam Stujin was helping to repair the colony's damaged buildings. "It's amazing," she said to her friends. "A few weeks ago, we were just colonists trying to build a new life. Now we're the first humans to win a space war." Commander Vextalon looked around his bridge at the human soldiers. They were young, most of them barely adults, but they had defeated his ancient and powerful fleet. They had turned his own weapons against him. Most importantly, they had shown they could learn and adapt faster than any species he had ever encountered. "Underestimated you?" he said quietly to Minho. "Yes, you did," Minho replied. "The question is, will you make that mistake again?" The human captain gestured toward the view screen, where the remains of the alien fleet drifted in space. "Take your surviving ships and go home. Tell your leaders that humanity is willing to be friends, but we are prepared to be enemies. Choice is yours." As the defeated alien fleet limped away from New Terra, the humans began to rebuild their colony. But they were no longer the same people who had arrived on this world 3 years ago. They had become something new, something that would change the galaxy forever. The first human interstellar war was over, and humanity had won. But more importantly, they had announced to the galaxy that they were not victims. They were survivors, innovators, and when pushed to the edge, they became the most dangerous species in the universe. The age of human expansion had begun. Commander Vextalon was getting frustrated. What should have been a quick and easy victory was turning into a real fight. His ships were taking damage, and some of his pilots were starting to get nervous. "How are they doing this?" he asked Quinn Valor. "They're primitives. They barely have space travel." "I don't know, sir," Quinn Valor replied, "but they're learning from every attack. They're adapting their tactics in real time." The alien commander felt something he hadn't experienced in centuries: doubt. Humans were not like other species his people had conquered. They didn't give up. They didn't run away. Instead, they got stronger with each battle. "Increase the bombardment," he ordered. "Use everything we have." But even as he gave the order, Vextalon knew something had changed. The humans had shown they could fight back. They had shown they could adapt. And most dangerously of all, they had shown they would never surrender. This was going to be much harder than he had expected. 3 weeks had passed since the alien attack began, and Dr. Kim Taeon looked like he hadn't slept in days. His hair was messy, his clothes were dirty, and his eyes were red from staring at computer screens. But he was smiling. Around him in his makeshift laboratory were pieces of broken alien technology. Twisted metal, strange crystals, and wires that glowed with their own light covered every table. He had been studying these alien machines day and night, trying to understand how they worked. "Look at this," he said to his assistant, technician Lim Soyoung. She was a young woman with quick fingers and an even quicker mind. "Their power systems are amazing. They can generate 10 times more energy than our best reactors." Soyoung was connecting human computers to alien hardware with cables and wires. Sparks flew from the connections, but she didn't stop working. "But they have a weakness," she said. "Their systems can't handle changes very well. If we can confuse their targeting computers, it can make them shoot at the wrong targets." Tae-Hyun finished. "Or better yet, make them shoot at nothing at all." In the underground command center, Captain Minho was looking at maps of the planet with Sergeant Choi Seung-min and Lieutenant Park Ji-won. They had moved the command center deep underground after the aliens destroyed the original one. "See these crystal formations?" Minho pointed to strange rock structures on the map. "They're all over the northern part of the continent. Our geologists say they conduct electricity naturally." Seung-min studied the map carefully. "If we could somehow direct the alien energy weapons into these crystals, we could turn the entire planet into a giant lightning rod," Ji-won said excitedly. "Their own weapons would power our defenses." Just then, Private Nam Soo-jin came running into the command center. Her uniform was torn and covered in dirt, but her eyes were shining with excitement. "Captain, you have to see what I found in the southern caves." She led them to a wall map and pointed to a series of tunnels. "The cave system is huge. It goes on for hundreds of kilometers. Could move the entire colony underground, and the aliens would never find us." Minho looked at the map with new eyes. "Not just hide," he said slowly. "We could use the caves as a base to strike back. Hit them where they don't expect it, then disappear." Over the next few days, the humans began to change their strategy completely. Instead of trying to fight the aliens in the open, they started to disappear. Families moved into the underground caves. Soldiers set up hidden bunkers. Weapons were camouflaged to look like rocks and trees. Dr. Yoon Ha-na had been studying the bodies of dead aliens that the soldiers had recovered. She made an important discovery about their biology. "Their eyes are different from ours," she told the command staff. "They can see some kinds of light that we can't see, but they're blind. 2 other kinds." Engineer Oh Dongmin took this information and ran with it. He developed a special coating that made human equipment invisible to alien sensors. Soldiers painted their weapons with it. Vehicles were covered in it. Even buildings were treated. With the special paint, the effect was immediate and terrifying for the aliens. Human soldiers would appear out of nowhere, attack alien positions, and then vanish like ghosts. The aliens couldn't track them, couldn't find them, couldn't fight. What they couldn't see, Seung-min led one of these ghost attacks against an alien supply depot. His team crawled through the caves for hours, then emerged right in the middle of the alien base. They destroyed fuel tanks and communication equipment, then disappeared back into the tunnels before the aliens could respond. "It's like fighting shadows," one alien soldier told his commander. "They're there, and then they're not there." The humans also began using the planet itself as a weapon. Tae-Hyun had figured out how to redirect alien energy beams through the crystal formations. When the aliens fired their weapons at the colony, the energy was absorbed by the crystals and then released in powerful lightning strikes that hit the alien ships. "It's impossible," Commander Vex Dalen said when he saw one of his fighters destroyed by lightning that seemed to come from the ground itself. "How are they doing this?" His officer, Quinn Valor, looked at the tactical reports with growing fear. "Sir, we've lost 12 ships in the past week. The humans are attacking us from everywhere and nowhere. Our sensors can't track them." The humans had turned the entire planet into a fortress. Every hill could hide a weapon. Every cave could conceal soldiers. Every crystal formation could become a lightning cannon. The aliens, who had expected to win quickly, found themselves trapped in a war they couldn't understand. Private Sujin was operating a hidden missile launcher when she saw an alien patrol walking nearby. She waited until they were directly over the crystal formation, then fired. The missile didn't hit the aliens directly. Instead, it hit the crystals, which released a burst of energy that knocked the aliens unconscious. "This is better than video games," she whispered to herself. Commander Vextalon read the casualty reports with growing alarm. His forces were starting to whisper that the humans were not normal creatures. They spoke of enemies that could become invisible, weapons that struck from the planet itself, a foe that seemed to learn from every battle. What was supposed to be a simple extermination had become a nightmare. The humans had turned their planet into a trap, and the aliens were caught in it, the space around New Terra suddenly filled with bright flashes of light as dozens of human ships appeared out of hyperspace. Captain Minho watched from the colony's command center as the relief fleet took position between the planet and the alien armada. "Admiral Kong Hoyanwu to New Terra colony," came a voice over the radio. "Sorry we're late to the party."
Minho
smiled for the first time in weeks. Admiral Kang was a legend in the colonial fleet. The old man had been fighting pirates and smugglers for 30 years. If anyone could help them win this battle, it was him. But Minho's smile faded when he counted the human ships. There were only 15 of them, facing an alien fleet of over 40 vessels. The aliens still had them outnumbered badly. On the bridge of the battleship, Indomitable, Admiral Kang studied the alien formation through his view screen. He was 65 years old, with gray hair and scars on his face from old battles. His crew looked nervous, but Kong felt excited. "Listen up, everyone," he said over the fleet communication system. "We're not here to fight fair. We're here to show these aliens what happens when they mess with human colonies." Commander Seo Min-jin commanded the frigate Defiance, one of the smallest ships in the human fleet. His ship was fast and maneuverable, but its weapons were weak compared to the massive alien warships. That didn't matter, though. Better than big guns? "All ships begin evasive pattern alpha," Admiral Kung ordered. The human ships began to move in ways that confused the aliens completely. Instead of flying in straight lines like normal warships, they zigzagged and spiraled through space. They used the planet's gravity to change direction suddenly. They even flew backwards while shooting forward. Commander Vextalon watched this strange display from his flagship. "What are they doing? This isn't how space battles are supposed to work." His tactical officer Quinn Valor was studying his sensors with growing panic. "Sir, I can't get a lock on any of their ships. Every time we target one, it disappears from our sensors." "That's impossible," Vextalon said. "Ships can't just disappear." But the humans had learned to use the aliens' own technology against them. Dr. Kim Taehan had figured out how the alien sensors worked, and he had taught the fleet how to fool them. The human ships were broadcasting false signals that made the alien computers think they were somewhere else. Lieutenant Park Ji-won was coordinating the electronic warfare from New Terra's command center. Her fingers flew over her keyboard as she sent confusing signals to the alien ships. "Hey, they're trying to compensate for our jamming," she reported. Switching to pattern Delta 7. The battle became chaos. Human ships appeared out of nowhere to attack alien vessels, then vanished before the aliens could fight back. The aliens tried to shoot at the human ships, but their weapons hit empty space because their sensors were telling them lies. The red sun of Kepler 4b was setting when Captain Lee Minho felt the vibration in his boots. He stood in the colony's main control room, watching the numbers on his computer screen change from green to yellow to red. Something was wrong. "Captain, look at this," said Lieutenant Park Ji-won. She was young, maybe 25, with short black hair and worried eyes. Her fingers moved quickly across the keyboard as she stared at the big screen on the wall. Minho walked over to her desk. The screen showed dozens of bright dots moving toward their planet. They were still far away, but they were coming fast. Very fast. "What am I looking at?" Minho asked. "Ships," Guan said. "Big ones. They're coming from outside our solar system." Minho felt his heart skip a beat. In 3 years on New Terra, they had never seen anything like this. The colony was home to 50,000 people now. They had built a real city with schools, hospitals, and farms. It was supposed to be safe. How long do we have? He asked.
As
18 hours? Maybe less, Juan said. Sir, these aren't space rocks or old satellites. They're flying in formation like a military fleet. The door burst open, and Chief Engineer Kim Tae-hein ran in. His face was red and he was breathing hard. Minho, you need to come to the observatory right now. We're picking up massive energy readings. Whatever's coming, it's huge. Minho looked at the screen one more time. The dots were getting closer. He walked to the colony's communication system and pressed the emergency button. His voice went out. To every building, every home, every person on New Terra, all colonists, this is Captain Lee. We have unknown ships approaching our planet. This is not a drill. All emergency teams report to your stations immediately. Everyone else, stay in your homes and wait for further instructions. The next few hours passed like a nightmare. Minho watched the approaching fleet through the colony's telescopes. The ships were unlike anything humans had ever built. They were long and sleek with curves that seemed to flow like water. Their metal hulls reflected the starlight in strange ways, making them look almost alive. They're beautiful, whispered Dr. Yunhana, the colony scientist who studied alien life. She stood next to Minho in the observatory, her face pressed against the telescope, but they're also terrifying. The alien ships moved with perfect precision. There were 47 of them, arranged in a pattern that spoke of military discipline and centuries of experience. They flew like they owned the galaxy, like they had never lost a battle. Do you think they're friendly? Asked G-1. Minho shook his head. Friendly visitors don't travel in war fleets. As the hours ticked by, the alien ships got closer. The colonists tried to send radio messages, tried to make contact, tried to show they were peaceful, but the aliens didn't respond. It just kept coming. When the fleet finally dropped out of hyperspace, the colonists could see them clearly. The ships were massive, some of them over 1 kilometer long. They moved slowly now, like predators stalking their prey. They surrounded the planet in a perfect circle, blocking any escape. My God, breathed Tae-han. Look at the size of them. Our entire defense fleet couldn't scratch one of those ships. Minho activated the colony's defense systems. They had 6 small patrol ships and some ground-based weapons. But they were designed to deal with pirates and smugglers, not an alien invasion fleet. All military personnel report to battle stations, Minho announced. All civilians move to the underground. Shelters immediately.
out.
Dr. Hana was still studying the alien ships through her instruments. Captain, I'm reading energy signatures I've never seen before. Their technology is far beyond ours. How far beyond? Minho asked. It's like comparing a stone axe to a laser rifle, she said quietly. The alien ships hung in space like dark clouds before a storm. They were silent, waiting, watching. The colonists had dreamed of this moment for generations, the moment when humanity would meet other intelligent life among the stars. But this wasn't the peaceful first contact they had imagined. Minho looked out at the alien fleet and felt a chill run down his spine. The colonists had come to New Terra to build a new life, to create something beautiful and peaceful. They had families here, children who had been born under this red sun. They had farms and schools and hopes for the future. Now all of that was in danger. What do we do? Asked G-1. Minho straightened his shoulders and looked at his team. We're scared, but they were also determined. They were human, and humans didn't give up easily. We fight, he said simply. We protect our home. The alien ships continued their silent vigil, waiting for something. Maybe they were waiting for the humans to surrender. Maybe they were waiting for orders from their command. Or maybe they were just enjoying the fear they were causing. But they didn't know humans very well. They didn't know that humans were at their most dangerous when they were cornered. They didn't know that humans could adapt and learn and survive. Against impossible odds, they were about to find out. The peaceful settlement of New Terra was about to become humanity's first battlefield. Among the stars, Commander Vextilan stood on the bridge of his giant warship. Looking down at the small human settlement on the planet below, he was tall and thin, with gray skin and 3 bright yellow eyes that glowed in the dark. His people, The Zephyrians had ruled this part of space for thousands of years to him. The humans were nothing more than bugs that needed to be stepped on. They had built their colony too close to Zephyr Prime, a planet that was sacred to his people. For over 5,000 years, his ancestors had buried their dead on that world. Now these strange creatures had dared to settle nearby. "Commander," said his officer Quinn Valor, walking up to him, "the humans are trying to talk to us. They're sending radio signals, math problems, even simple pictures." Vaxtalen's 3 eyes narrowed with anger. "I don't care what they're trying to say. We don't talk to insects. Start the attack." "Yes, sir," Quinn Valor said, pressing buttons on his control panel. "All attack ships, begin the cleansing operation." Down on New Terra, Sergeant Choi Seung-min watched the sky through his binoculars. He could see the alien attack ships coming down through the clouds like angry metal birds. His hands were shaking, but he tried to stay calm. "This is Command," Captain Minho's voice came through his radio. "We count 40 enemy ships heading your way. Everyone get to your fighting positions now." Seung-min ran to the defense wall that surrounded the colony. The wall was made of concrete and metal, but it looked very small compared to the alien ships. He had been a soldier for 10 years. But he had never fought aliens before. Private Nam Soo-jin crouched behind the wall next to him. She was only 22 years old and had joined the Colonial Defense Force just 6 months ago. She thought she would be protecting the colony from wild animals, not fighting a war with aliens. "Are you scared?" she whispered to Seung-min. "Yes," he said honestly. "But being scared is okay. It keeps you alive." The first alien energy beams hit the outer edge of the colony. The weapons were incredibly powerful, turning buildings into dust and metal into vapor. The light was so bright that the defenders had to close their eyes. When the smoke cleared, Seung-min expected to see nothing but ruins. But he was wrong. The colony was damaged, but it was still there. And the humans were still fighting. Engineer Kim Tae-hyun had been working all night to turn the colony's machines into weapons. He had taken the big trucks that moved rocks from the mines and put rocket launchers on them. The giant robots that built buildings now carried plasma cutters that could cut through metal. "Fire!" shouted Seung-min, and the defenders began shooting back at the alien ships dot up on the alien flagship. Quinn Valor was watching the battle with confusion. "Commander, something's wrong. The humans aren't running away. They're actually fighting back." Bextalon couldn't believe it. In all his years of conquest, primitive species always ran when they saw his fleet. They begged for mercy or tried to hide. They didn't fight back against superior technology. "Impossible," he said. "They're using mining equipment as weapons. How can they think they can win?" But the humans were full of surprises. When the alien ships flew low to attack the colony, the humans shot rockets at them. When the aliens tried to land troops, the humans used construction robots to fight them off. Every time the aliens thought they had one, humans found a new way to fight back. Private Soo-jin was operating one of the improvised rocket launchers when an alien fighter ship flew directly at her position. She waited until it was very close, then fired. The rocket hit the ship's wing and sent it spinning into the ground. "I got one," she shouted, pumping her fist in the air. The battle continued for hours. The aliens had better weapons and more ships, but the humans had something else. They had the will to fight for their home. They had creativity and determination. Most importantly, they had the ability to adapt quickly to new situations. Engineer Tae-han was constantly improving their weapons. He studied the wreckage of destroyed alien ships and figured out how their technology worked. Then he used that knowledge to make human weapons more effective. "Their shields are strong against energy weapons," he told Captain Minho over the radio. "But they're weak against physical projectiles. We need to use more rockets and bullets."